There's the Honorable Shyne Barrow, live from Belize, here now in the New York City Drama Hour Studios. Make sure you check in.
Hey, listen, man. Belize own, Brooklyn, New York's own. Shyne is in the building. Tune in right now. Don't miss it. Streets. If you hear my voice, that means you are once again now tuned into another episode of the Drama Hour. You already know on this show, anybody can't just come up here. No fakes, no frauds, no phonies. Now, in the building with me right now, this brother right here originally comes from Belize, but being a Brooklyn native myself, I gotta say, we claim him as one of our own.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
BK.
Before he went away, you know what I mean? I was always a fan of his music. And even while he was away, I gotta say, I heard him do a track from behind the wall. You know what I'm saying? And that joint was extremely potent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without further ado, man, who do we have on the Drama Hour?
Shyne Poe.
There you go, man. There you go.
Or the Honorable Shyne Barrow, the opposition leader of Belize. But yeah.
Definitely, man. I want to ask you this, man. So in hip hop, you know what I mean, when the new artists come on the scene, right? They got this thing where they gotta compare you to somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Me, I always used to get you sound like Big L, you know what I mean? Or Jay-Z comparison because of my tone. You, when you first came through, it was the Biggie.
Yeah.
Yo, it's this dude, he sounds just like Big.
Yeah.
What was it like to break out of that and create your own identity as an artist?
I mean, obviously, if you listen to me now, it's the same thing. This is just who I am. But I go back to like R. Kelly. Maybe not the best analogy given, things that have happened to him, but you go back to R. Kelly and Aaron Hall from God. I remember that very vividly. There were comparisons,
right.
That R. Kelly was trying to be like Aaron God, Aaron Hall from God.
Right.
You go to Kobe and Michael Jordan.
Yep.
People said that Kobe was trying to be Michael Jordan. But obviously Kobe distinguished himself
Facts.
to be Kobe, number 24, and won his chips and put himself in the history books. So I think for me, I always knew who I was.
Right.
And ultimately that came across in the Shyne album, which is considered a classic. People like you say that they were fans.
Facts.
It means a lot because, as you said, not everyone could come up here, and I'm sure not everyone is considered, worthy of you being their fan.
No doubt.
But that's because I put in that work, and then the body of work, translated. Like even Slay.
Facts,
Slay
man.
wasn't
Rest in
messing
peace
with
to Slay.
anybody.
Nope.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
So for me I think he gave me. I hosted one of his mixtapes with him.
Right.
Because again, he met me. I spit for him. He saw the rawness. He saw what led everybody to want to sign me, and so, for me, it wasn't a problem. And obviously, being a Brooklyn person, Belize is like Brooklyn on steroids. People are so confident because we have nothing. We come from nothing,
right.
And so confidence is a survival mechanism. You have to will your way into existence. And so, part of that Brooklyn, Vietnam, mindset
Right.
is we know who we are. I don't need you to tell me who I am. I don't need you to validate me. And so, I knew who I was, and I felt it was just a matter of time before everyone got to understand who I was.
Right.
And that's what ultimately happens because, nobody, obviously in a documentary, you have to bring that up.
Right.
But you got little C's in the documentary talking about when, he got locked up and I was on the island,
right.
and they put him in my house and how I took care of him and I embraced him and I treated him like a brother. And so, so when D-Rock got locked up and, he went to Clinton, he was with my guys and everybody's telling him, and he understood. And I remember speaking to him, and he's like, yo, I love you for, taking care of C's. And I'm just saying, like, time, one of the great things about this documentary is that people will learn is time.
Right.
Master time. Because truth will always reveal itself. And your truth and your honesty and your identity and whatever you say you are and whatever you really are, it's all gonna present itself.
Right.
So for people who are living in their truth, for people who are going through scrutiny and being challenged and being questioned, just keep being you, because
Nice.
you know it all reveal itself. Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about this documentary, man. You know, where we come from, just being a solid individual, period. Not just where we come from.
Yeah.
One of the things we taught, actions speak louder than words. You know what I'm saying? You know, keep your mouth closed when something happens. You know what I mean? And I feel like everything you went through on the outside looking in, you stayed quiet. Never took the stand, never said nothing.
Yeah.
I feel like on this documentary, we finally going to get a chance to hear Shyne's story.
Yeah.
What made you want to tell your story now?
Well, we've been working on the documentary for 2 years.
Okay.
I signed a deal maybe 2.5 years ago, and we've been working on it. We wrapped production like earlier this year. So there's always been a solicitation for a Shyne documentary. People have been asking me to do a Shyne documentary since Mark Wahlberg sent me like, $1 million deal back in our Clinton Denimora days. But it was all about finding the right partner, making sure the business was right, and then telling the right story. I didn't want to tell the Diddy story. I didn't want to tell the, poor me story.
Right.
Especially as time went on and I evolved and I got to different spaces and stages of my life. So you had to find the right partner, because then the people like, oh no, it's not worth anything if you're not gonna, say this and say that. And I just, if you look at the documentary, I begrudgingly get into things. It's not like, if it was up to me, I would have cut some of the trial. But unfortunately, there's an entire generation of people that are not from where you were. Like there's a young crew right now. Like
People
I'm
don't
46.
realize that, yeah.
So there's young people that are like that are where we were.
That's a fact.
And they don't know nothing
They
about
don't
Shyne.
know nothing. You got to inform.
Exactly. So you gotta,
Yeah.
So when I did the my first XXL, respect to Elliot Wilson, that was my first XXL cover. Death Before Dishonor.
Right.
2001. I think that was like the April or the May cover. I was telling people that Diddy snitched on me. He sent people to testify against me. He was a sleaze bag and all the different things. And I said that again on the Juice, on the Vibe cover. I think I had like 5 covers while I was incarcerated, and I did it on the MTV interviews. I did it every opportunity I got. Nobody was listening.
Wow.
And then I moved on, and I healed, and I forgave, and I transformed my life, and I let go of all that baggage, because you can't keep carrying
That's a fact.
those things around with you. So now, when you look at the Shyne documentary, it's a totality of my life, and you can't sanitize your life. You can't omit parts of your life, especially for this new generation that doesn't really know anything about your life. You got to give them the 100.
No, that's real talk. Speaking about that situation, I mean, the situation that transpired, when you became incarcerated, I wanted to ask you, when you came home, as humans, we hold grudges, man. It's hard to let shit go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I eventually seen you on stage with Puff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talk about that level of forgiveness, man.
Well, you see, I went through 2 stages of forgiveness. There was a stage of forgiveness based on where I was at the time, of I forgive you, but you owe me your life. And that was the first stage of forgiveness. That's when I went to visit Puff in Paris. And it's interesting because Cassie talks about it in her lawsuit of what she was going through and how. And I didn't see that when I was in Paris.
Right.
Full disclosure, I didn't see any of that. But I did see he spent like $500,000 on a shopping spree in one day.
Wow.
And she talks about that. She talks about him, you know, terrorizing her, assaulting her, and then he would make up for it, you know, with these splurges. And then, but I saw that from like, I did 10 years for you. And you know, where's the multi-million-dollar check? Like,
right.
You're a billionaire, you spending $500,000 in Paris, you know, on you know, your woman, and you know, your brother that stood 10 toes and made sure that you were out there to enjoy, you know, your career, your success.
Right.
Because if I'd have told the DA he did it, it would have been a wrap, and you wouldn't have been able to enjoy your success. And I never got anything.
Wow.
So, but however, so that's where I was at that point. And so we met. I expected, after that meeting, I expected at least $1 million check. You know, I expected at least, well, listen, you know, I'm gonna give you $1 million a year for the rest of your life, or I'm gonna give you $100,000 a month. That's where I was.
Right.
And then when that didn't happen, I was like, man, you know, you really are a scumbag. Wow. And then I moved on, and then I came back to another place of forgiveness. And this was like in 2019, where my forgiveness didn't come with a price tag. And my forgiveness had nothing to do with who I was forgiving and everything to do with me. So it was like, you don't exist. Your presence is, you know what? I forgive you, man. God bless you. I wish you the best, right? Mm-hmm. And I just keep going. Mm-hmm. And so you don't have to do anything for me. Nothing. You know, not a dollar, not anything. And so that's what led to me performing on stage, because, you know, he took offense to him owing me anything. And that's part of the monster that I knew. So when people talk about these allegations and ask me, you know, I didn't see any of them, but the person that could, you know, snitch on his friend and send his friend to prison for 10 years, his so-called brother, is a person capable of doing anything. But getting past that was because of me, not because of him. Not because he was a noble guy, not because he was a stand-up guy, not because, you know, he made right. It was just, I couldn't hold on to that. So in the context of the performance, that was for the culture. That wasn't for Diddy. That wasn't even for me. That was for the culture, and that was for Belize, because never before has Belize been on a stage, you know, in front of millions and millions of people tuned in. Right. And that was the agreement. I was like, man, I'm not no rapper. I can't come rap on stage. Like, I could come and I could maybe give you the award and say a speech, but rap? Are you crazy? Like, that was my response. Right. But then he was like, nah, you know, it's for the culture, it's the legacy, and, you know, he's gonna promote Belize. And then he got me when he said Belize. I was like, yeah, okay, this could be, you know, so when I get on the stage, I gotta see that big flag, and you gotta be like Belize. But and if you listen to the performance, he's like, Belize, Belize. And then I changed the entire verse.
Yeah, you did.
I switched the entire verse, and I incorporated
right, that was crazy.
Belize.
That was fire.
And so that's what happened. Right? And I didn't get a check for that. I didn't ask for anything other than Belize. And so that's the space I was, where it was about, you know, the capital of those moments for the legacy and for my country.
Wow, man. That's deep. That's deep as hell, man. Just out of my own curiosity, man, because, and I hate to keep going back to this, but I anticipated you, bro, coming back out and doing what you do. Hearing you rap from behind the wall. Then when you came out, you released a couple joints. And when you don't need me to tell you this, but when I tell you your shit was potent like a motherfucker, you had motherfuckers saying shit, you know what I'm saying? But me, I got my own mind. Yeah. I felt like it was the industry shuffle. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, you didn't put out no more music. Yeah. You went over there and came back on a whole nother level. But I do want to know, why did you stop making music in that moment? You know what I'm saying?
You know, I lost my voice. So it's like this baritone that you hear right now so effortlessly, even after a long night, a lot of, you know, Cabernet and celebrating, you know, the screening of the Honorable Shyne documentary. I lost my voice. And I believe I lost my voice for a reason. Obviously, I got it back now. But I came out, and I came out with a lot of hate. a lot of vitriol.
I seen that.
A lot of the energy was just not right.
I seen that.
And then it was like, man, you know, you just sat up for 10, and then you coming back with the same energy, and it's like, man, you gonna end up doing another 10 because then
scared, though, bro.
if you get in a space with any of those guys, and you coming with that energy, you know what you do. So it's like, I think God was like, yo, what are you doing? Like, yo, come on, I just sat you up.
Right, that's a fact.
And you coming back.
Coming back to the same.
You know, like, what are you doing?
Right.
And you know, and I didn't really look at it like that, but that's what it was. Because the way I was talking, talking facts, all facts.
I was arguing niggas down like, do y'all hear this
all
shit?
Facts, all facts.
You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, so, you know, so I lost my voice, and the music wasn't hitting the way that it needed to hit, because literally I'm on Def Jam, and Rick Ross is Def Jam's #1 artist at the time.
Right.
You know, plugged in with Diddy, plugged in with Hove, you know, and I was basically burning Def Jam down by going after the #1 artist.
Okay.
You know, I'm going after 50. I'm going after Drake. Like I was on one. I was going after everybody.
Right.
And so it wasn't healthy. It was toxic.
It is.
From my, you know, retrospection, I think I should have just focused on the music and making some hit records.
Got you.
And then I ended up going to Israel. I was shooting a video for the Roller song. Because you're right. As far as lyricists,
nah, son.
As far as what I was saying,
nah, man.
You know, incomparable. Incomparable.
Like,
And that's coming from a fellow lyricist, from a fellow artiste.
Thank you.
You know, someone who, you know, you were creative for real. So you know when the pen game is vicious and when it's not.
Definitely.
So I just finished rapping a Roller song, and in Mexico City, and you know. Obviously, I'm Orthodox Jew, but not, you know, I'm not religious anymore, because even with that, I don't believe in extremism. I don't believe in extreme Israeli right-wing hawks, and I don't believe in Hamas terrorists. I believe that, you know, we should have a two-state solution. I believe that Arabs deserve their own state, as per the United Nations proclamation, where, you know, that land would be split in two, and you would have an Arab state and a Jewish state. So I don't believe in extremism on any side. So when but I just put that in context, because people sometimes think because you say you're Orthodox Jew that you support, you know, any side. I support what's right. I support humanity. I support, you know, a cessation of hostilities and, you know, humanitarian aid and all these things. But so I went to Israel because I was an Orthodox Jew. I still practice in my own way, still fast on Yom Kippur, still rap my tefillin. But I went to Israel because when I was incarcerated, that's what got me through. That's what allowed me to survive. You know, I was anything that you read in the Bible, because interestingly enough, you know, that's why I said religion. Sometimes it's like a hoax, because it divides us and it separates us. When we're one, we're one human family, because like you go to the Quran and you go to the Torah, it's the same book.
Right.
It's Yusuf and Yosef. It's Ibrahim and Abraham, right? It's David and Daoud, right? It's Moses, which is my name, and Musa. It's the same people. So we're brothers. And that's what me and Khaled represent. And that's, you know, so important that he's in the documentary, because we're at a very divisive space right now on the world stage. Right. You know, but we're all one. And so, you know, when I'm just in context, I'm sorry I'm giving so much
you gotta clarify
as to why I stopped rapping. I went to Israel because every year I would say, you know, next year in Jerusalem. And so when I went to Israel, I just got immersed in my studies of orthodoxy, and I just said, you know, I'm gonna focus on this, and I stopped rapping, and I felt it was more important to study, because what I did learn is everything that I'm saying now is that I'm a human being before I'm a religion, right? I'm about humanity
Right.
before I'm about anything else. And God doesn't want me to talk about religion. He wants me to live
Live it out.
a holy life.
Mm-hmm.
And a holy life is togetherness. A holy life is recognizing everybody's pain and suffering and doing what I can do to alleviate that. And I felt being ultra orthodox and wearing these garbs and having, having religion in front of me was a barrier to my ultimate purpose, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm bringing people together.
Unifying. Right?
I had ultra Orthodox Jews at my screening, and I had Muslims at my screening, and there's gonna be, I got Khaled in the documentary. I'm in Israel, and I'm talking about some harsh truths, and I keep saying what I'm saying, which is what humanitarian aid, two-state, an Arab state, a Jewish state living together. No one's gonna stop me from saying that. I'm not an Israeli right-wing hawk,
Right.
and I don't support, terrorists. And that's where I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be this ultra-religious person, that's only on one side. I'm on the side of humanity,
Right.
whatever's right. So that's how I ended up, retiring from rap, because ultimately it just wasn't, as you said, I don't know if it's the industry shuffle,
Yeah.
because I was going against the most powerful people in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
But it just wasn't working out. Like, I'll give you an example. I had gone from Israel to Paris. And so in Paris, everybody would come, like, perform at the stadium. I remember Hov came and he performed at Bercy. And so, Hov was my guy. We always kept in touch. And so when he was in Paris, he was like, yo, come to the show. And it wasn't just coming to the show. It was like, we went to dinner, like on some brother connect. And, I remember OG Juan saying, man, you should really do a doc, your life story is fascinating. But then everybody would leave Paris, and that would be the end of it.
Right.
It's not like Hov was like, yo, sign the Rock Nation, put out the album. Hov did want to sign me when I came out, and I never forget this. My guy Stevie Ace, Steven Acevedo. Steve-O's my guy as well, which is, one of Hov's closest friends. He told me he'd never forget that he was coming from the Yankee game, and the record with me and Khaled came out and leaked, and Hov wanted to throw up. He stopped the car. He's like,
Right.
oh my goodness, what is he doing?
Oh, okay.
Because the voice wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
And and we had a plan. Like, I was gonna sign the Hov, and he was gonna, do everything and get me back right. And but I was eager, I was anxious, I was ahead of myself.
Right.
And it wasn't right. My voice wasn't right. My presence wasn't right. It felt like a AI Shyne.
Okay.
Right. And so the point I'm making is, Drake, even after everything had happened, when Drake came to Paris, Drake reached out. And we got together. I went to the show, went to dinner. And again, nobody's like, yo, why don't you sign the OVO? And I'm not gonna be the guy in the room to be like, yo, please,
right,
take me with you.
Right.
And so then I said to myself, I said, man, you know what? God is never gonna come from heaven and talk to me face to face and say, yo,
right.
this is what it is. You gotta kind of read the room, right? You gotta kind of interpret the messages that the universe
gives you, man,
is sending to you.
Yeah.
And that was my interpretation. It was like, you know what? The biggest come to town,
right,
and invite me. Like, that's a tremendous sign of respect.
It is.
But they say everything except, why don't you keep making music? And then my friend, he's in the documentary. One of my closest friends, a kid by the name of Jeffrey Schottenstein. And he was one of the people to help get me right. Because he puts it very nicely in the documentary, but it wasn't so nice when he said it to me. I don't know if he said it as nicely as he did in the documentary, but I heard I heard like a hammer just hit me and just destroy me and crush me, because he said, yo, you got to get over being Shyne. Right? You know, you're not, is everything okay? Nah, we gotta,
Just having this genuine dialogue, man.
Yeah, they needed, sorry. So it smashed me. He said, yo, Shyne, you gotta get over being Shyne. Like, you're not Shyne the rapper anymore. You're greater than that. You can do more than that. You know, I'll invest in you. I'll find, you know, a friend, you know, multi-billions. I'll you know, set up a business. Like, you're more than just a rapper. And so, you know, you need to consider moving on and stop holding on to that, because you're holding yourself back.
Wow.
And I was like, what? I'm always gonna be Shyne. Like, I'm Shyne. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, never give up. You know, never die. Like, no, it's gonna happen. It's like, I don't know if you ever seen that reel with the dude that got dreadlocks just around, but his whole front is gone. And they had to do an intervention, and they brought him in the room, and it was like, yo, you gotta cut the side.
Gotta let it go, man.
Gotta let it go.
It's over.
And basically that's what I heard, and I was like, no, what are you talking about? No, I'm Shyne, I'm nice. Like, my pen game is vicious.
Got you.
I'm that guy. But I'm one of my superpowers is honesty and being real, and being able to have introspection and reflection, and to be able to look at myself. You know, one of the things I say in the documentary is, when I started rapping, you know, my heroes, you know, Hove, Nas, Raekwon, Ghostface, Biggie, you know, like, I'll never forget listening to Only Built for Cuban Links.
Facts.
I'll never
Shout to Ray.
forget listening to It Was Written and Illmatic. Even Illmatic more than It Was Written. I know some people will beat on me for that, but like, you know, Illmatic, you know, If I Rule the World, you know, just, you know, just the intro, Fake Thugs, No Love, You Get the Slugs, C4, Gusto, Your Luck Low.
Yeah.
You know, just.
That's actually, It Was Written, though. That's actually, It Was Written.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry,
that's
It Was Written. No, yeah. I'm thinking about
you saying the second album is better than the first. That's what you're saying.
No, I got it mixed up.
Right.
So, yeah, so my apologies. So, Illmatic is the first album.
Right.
It Was Written. So,
second one.
So it was written because It Was Written was right there with me. And it spoke to me. And it was, you know, it was a soundtrack of my life at the time. But the point I'm making, Ready to Die.
Right.
You know, even I gotta go back to Dre and Snoop. You know, Chronic.
Impactful.
You know, all those records.
Yeah.
But those records spoke to your soul. You know, Pac, All Eyes on Me.
Yep.
You know, those records spoke to your soul. They moved you. And so my thing is, you know, Wu-Tang. If I rap, you know, Mobb Deep, you know, if I rap, my raps gotta move you, and it gotta give me the feeling that these people give me, and so, you know, not being able to give that feeling, you know, you know, and the people are the ultimate judges, right? So if they not feeling it and it's not there, you know, then you move on. Right.
Yeah. This is my last question. I know you gotta go, man. You had you had a unique transition. I don't think we ever seen nobody come from where you came from and go into politics, leader of the opposition, country of Belize. You know, when I was born, my grandmother named me Papoose. You know what I'm saying? She named my cousin Pappy. He just came home. He served 18 years. What advice would you give to him and any brothers out there who trying to make that transition coming out of the penitentiary?
Yeah, well, welcome home, Pappy. And, you know, I think one of the things that I've neglected to verbalize while I've spoken to it, you know, I'm the embodiment of criminal justice reform. But I don't think I've used those exact words in all my speeches. But so this is a great opportunity to verbalize that. This is what criminal justice reform looks like. This is why, we need laws that are about rehabilitation and reformation and giving people the opportunity to fix themselves and return to society and continue to build society and continue to make contributions to society. And it shouldn't be about human warehousing. It shouldn't be about, mass incarceration.
Right.
And so I'm the reason why, laws and legislation should speak to the redemptive spirit of human beings. Because whether you do 18 years or you do 10 years, you can still have a magnificent turnaround, not necessarily to be a politician the way I'm, but whatever it is, whatever your thing is, whatever your purpose is. So we as a society need to make sure that our congressmen, our elected officials, whether state, whether local, whether federal, understand that, whatever your society wants to be, it should be a redemptive society. It should be a society of forgiveness. It should be a society of second chances, maybe third chances. And so to my people out there, to all people, to the people who are reformed and to the people who are in a position to employ that person, to finance that person, to support that person, it's very important. And I'm a testament of that because, fortunately for me, I couldn't compare myself to Pappy because, I had multi-platinum, career, and so I came out to a $5 million deal from Def Jam. So, it's not a fair comparison. So I had an advantage of most people that come out. So my cry to people that come out is that you might not have the $5 million deal, but you have the resilience of Shyne. You have the powers that I have to curate your life and to manufacture a life for yourself post-incarceration. You can go wherever your sacrifice, hard work, and determination takes you. And to society, this is what investing in people who have made mistakes looks like.
Right.
It's to your benefit, right? Belize wouldn't want me, or America wouldn't want me to come out and be the same 18-year-old kid shooting up the club.
Right.
But if you don't get an opportunity, if you don't get a chance to re-enter society and to, I know you have laws here where like after a certain amount of time they expunge your record and it's, they restore your rights. That's important. So on both ends, I speak to the people who have the power to embrace and to help the reformation process, and to those that are the subjects of reformation to keep going, to be resilient, and to understand that no one can stop your indefatigability, your indomitability, except you.
Thanks for coming on the show, bro. Well spoken, man.
Make sure you visit Belize.
And make sure you, yeah, I would love to, man. I would love to. I would love to. And also, the documentary, what's the date?
November 18th.
There you go.
Hulu.
Don't miss it.
All right.
You've been listening to another Rock the Bells radio exclusive.
Another Rock the Bells radio exclusive.
The Drama Hour, hosted by Papoose.
What's up, y'all? It's Papoose.
Hear it again in the Sirius XM app. Just search Papoose.